I have orange. I have orange or purple. Or pink.
It's hard to rush through things when people are changing their beneficiaries on their life insurance policies.
Or the, same, Arctic Trek Merrill souls that don't slip.
My,
But they're a little newer than the ones that wear over there.
Okay. Are we ready?
What did you get? I am a big believer in Merrill's Arctic Trek soles.
I have them, I have a pair of Merrells that I like.
Yeah, so they say, they don't slip very much.
Okay, let me get onto that. Okay, well, hey, Tom, how are you?
Hello, how's it going? Good, how are you?
All right.
And Tom.
And Tom.
And Tom.
And Tom. All right. Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. And, the minutes, the only thing is that on the top of your minutes, it said it starts at 4:45 and it starts at 4:30.
Yeah, that's still, okay, I can make
So,
that.
Yeah, and she, on the,
That was my-
she's fixed that.
yeah, that was the only thing that I,
Okay, all right, yeah, like I said, I was doing that and.
yes, that was the only thing. Did you get a chance to?
I haven't checked since, well, not, since one, so I haven't seen it.
Okay, we can hold off and approve them next time too.
Well, yep.
I got there. Your choice.
It's okay, okay. All right, Public Works update.
I didn't print up a report this time.
You're making me
Haven't
work.
been doing too much besides snow and water, but I'll give you a couple updates. We haven't heard, on the stormwater, we haven't heard anything back from the DOT yet, so we're still waiting on that. The legislature hasn't done anything that I'm aware of with, House Bill 6 and 11, or whichever, the two that apply to our funding for our two projects. Nothing's really changed with the SRF loan. We've had one meeting and it went good. And we had our first meeting with the EDA Streets project, and that looked good. There's some discussion that came up today on whether sidewalks are included in that or not. There currently are not included in it.
Okay.
The options that we could include them, it would boost the price of the project by quite a bit. I mean, but that's, just because it would add a lot. The other option would be to do an SID for the area where the curb and gutter's going in. And the people that are benefiting from would pay for the sidewalks. It'd be cheaper that way because it'd be part of the bid with the contract and they'd do them all. So we theoretically get a better price per square foot by having more square feet. And on parks, haven't heard anything on the urban forestry grant yet. I'm expecting something any day. We did hear back on the tree planting grants and we got that. And, I do have some preliminary kind of concept drawings for the Pride Park project, that I'm gonna have a little get together with the garden club and whoever wants parks for it, and kind of look at them, and it's more to see if they're going the right direction. Other than that, we've been moving snow and dealing with water leaks and frozen water lines.
And getting lots of compliments, so
Yes.
very nice.
The snow removal has been excellent.
With that,
The snow removal has been excellent, it really has. You guys have been doing a good job.
Yes.
Yeah, I was in Bozeman over the
working
weekend.
hard, so.
Yeah.
Bozeman was not pretty.
I mentioned this last time, I'm trying to figure out a way to get a truck so we can move a little snow. And I've got a line on one, and I actually have the line on some budgeted money from this year's budget. We might be able to get something in place before next budget year, possibly. So, and I think that's it for my update. Oh, the CIP's on here. I know everybody had the draft from earlier this month. I've got a few updates to it that I've added, but not much. We can go over those when we get to that.
Okay. All right. Did we want to, pull that up, Dave, the CIP up on the screen, or does everybody just wanna,
Does everyone have their copy? I can pull it, does somebody have it on the machine that I can make you a presenter?
Oh, I don't know, I see if I have
I
it.
can pull one out, I just didn't have a heads up that you'd want it.
well, I just was like, if we're gonna go over it, it might be nice to actually be
I'm
here.
reluctant to commit, because I don't want to necessarily have to stay here the whole time.
Hang on, I have to get
Yeah,
out
But I
of
do
my.
have it up,
I can-
if that's helpful.
I can pull it up and join the meeting.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've got it on my phone, but that's not really gonna,
No.
I'm not even there.
I just thought it might be easier if we had it up on the screen, so everyone can see it.
I can
I didn't
accommodate
print,
that.
I did not print it out.
45 pages, why not?
Yeah, so. But it's, Tom, are you here specifically for the CIP? Okay, just wanted to make sure I'm not missing something. So you have to.
I'm gonna wear two separate hats, I didn't bring either of them with me, but both CIPs, so.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead. Are you,
I said I'm coming.
oh.
Well, while we're waiting,
Yes.
I think this is interesting.
Mm.
Our age has gone up a lot,
Our,
age. We're, median age was 45.6 in 2010, and now we're 53.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
Well, I was younger than 46 in 2010, and now I'm older than 53, so there.
No comment. I think all the people are just getting older.
I got older, despite all my efforts.
I don't know what you're
to
talking about.
try. I know.
We're just not
You're
having,
just better estimate.
I was,
either,
I was
we're not-
older every time.
yes, me too. We're just not having the younger people maybe.
And not
Okay.
only that, I'm aging quicker than my kids are, because I was 24 when he was born, so, and then so when he was 1, I was 25, so I was 25 times older than he was.
Oh, Jesus.
And then a few years later, he was 5 and I was 25, so I was only 5 times older than him.
I see.
So quickly getting older faster than I am.
Yeah, I'm not that much older than my kids, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so, I just thought if we put it up there and then maybe, Mike wanted to, or anyone had any.
The first page I have changes on are, page 5.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, I opened it.
All right. Let me see if I can make that bigger. So what, Madam Chair, where did you want me to go? Are we jumping down to the first changes?
Yes.
Okay, why don't you have me pull this up if you're just gonna look at it on your phone?
Well,
behind me, here, I have it pulled up right here.
no, it's hard for me to look at it on my phone, so, just thought we'd all be on the same page, so.
Okay, page 5.
So Mike said he had a change on page 5.
Well, there's an open table there,
Right.
that kind of threw some stuff in.
I see one thing.
And in there, I just put down some of the projects we have coming up. So I had the EDA street project on there. I didn't put any real order to them. I put stream bank stabilization project in there. I think that would be capital improvements. The 60-inch bypass, phase 1 of the wastewater, 2026 water improvements, phase 2 and 3 of the wastewater.
Oh, wow,
And then the Rocky Fork, whatever, demo, bank stabilization / park as like big projects in the next 5 years.
And that's what you were gonna put in table 1?
Most of those things are like
Okay.
the next 1 or 2, aren't they?
Right.
Yeah.
EDA street project,
We'll
bank
see. I mean,
stabilization.
you know how it
Yeah,
works.
well,
One
but the
and two.
EDA is the one that's a potential delay. Most of those others, I think, were, bank stabilization might end up being, like I said, that's why I said 2 and not
I think a
1.
lot of things are in flux right now until things settle out.
So what you're doing is just, you're reading off a population of this table.
With that,
You're just reading off populating this table?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And so is there other like big projects that you guys see on the horizon. These are projects that are like,
In the works already?
Mhm.
well, and they're upwards of, you know, over $500,000 at least, each one
So
probably.
these are
So
the
it's
expensive ones?
listed other places, so I don't know if, is that supposed to be a list of things that are other places in the document, but that this is the
Yeah.
highest priority, so,
Those are the big ones.
yeah, so then the water line for the golf course.
That-
You mentioned that,
Okay, I was looking when you, yeah, okay.
As far as timelines, I would like to see that sidewalk up to the high school
Yeah.
in the timeline of when we're doing the streets and curb and gutter going up there.
Okay, yeah, that is, part of that that'll be in that EDA part, yeah.
Okay.
And I think that chunk we can easily add in.
Oh, let's
without
put the air to the
getting
wrong
crazy. And I think I'd like, when I emailed you, I'd like to put together a cost estimate on that. I think there might be some other avenues to find money for that too.
Yeah, there's the safe schools that, I don't know if it's still out there or not, but we've heard that come up a lot.
We just used it before, I think, is why it keeps coming up.
So
The safe schools, there was a safe schools,
Schools initiative.
yeah, and it was basically sidewalk. We did sidewalk all the way from the fire station all the way to the elementary school with that grant. Like all in front of the IGA and all that stuff was done with that safe routes to schools or something.
Safe routes.
Yeah.
While we're at it, can we get sidewalks on 19th Street?
Pardon?
Can we get sidewalks on 19th Street? God, I hate that. It's so dark there. So it's like my pet peeve. If you can't tell, I bring it up every single time.
Well, and there's another thing too, as far as the replacing them goes,
There are none.
there's even worse news, and that is it's somebody else's money, which also means it's somebody else's timeline.
Yeah. But when there are no sidewalks though,
There's no worry about redoing.
Are you talking about like down by?
I'm talking about 19th Street from, Broadway all the way up. There are no
I just
sidewalks.
heard Broadway, I'm sorry.
No, 19th Street.
I'm sorry.
There's like, and everybody was, there's no lights there either, so it's really dark.
I think the next page we have like priorities on is 14.
Hold on, that's not what I was trying to do.
Whoa, okay.
And that's the water
Mhm.
system capital improvements. And that really, nothing's changed on that from the draft, I don't believe.
Mhm.
Look here,
Same one I have.
there should be 1, 2, 5, 6, 7 things on there. Further down, I think,
I only have 4 things.
yeah, right there, and then there's one more on the next.
Run power cellular tanks is what I've got on the last page, yeah.
And that's, the 16th bypass is the golf course.
Mhm.
The water rehab project is basically getting rid of the last, hopefully the last bits of cast iron, 100-year-old pipe that's left down here in town. Preliminary engineering report, we have most of that paid for, with grants. We want to get that done. The Kainu Avenue Water Project was actually in the 2019 CIP.
Mhm.
And is that one, does that have a dependency on us getting that right of way?
Well,
Good.
yeah, I mean, in order to do it, we'd have to get an easement through there. Building for the PRV on White, kind of hangs out there in the street, and it's fairly unprotected. We'd like to get a building around that. The SCADA system is our computer system that connects everything and gives us all our alarms and everything, and currently what we have is kind of a Frankenstein affair that dates back when we had surface treatment. So, it's all been
A little
patched
outdated.
together, but it has gremlins in it, and no one can figure it out. And they're not consistent. They are very significant in that we don't get alarms when we should, and that's scary. So, we're looking at a complete upgrade of the SCADA system for water and sewer.
there's kind of that, like, hanging out on the bottom, it says run power to cellular or cellular to tank.
Right now, and things will, well, no, they won't. Right now, everything comes from the waterworks tanks and basically fills the tank in town. And that's why we don't have good pressure at the golf course, because there's air gap there. What tells us the level of the tank in town is an old copper wire in the ground that nobody knows where it's at. And it's degraded to the point where the signal is sketchy. So
That's fun.
it needs to get, we need something more robust there so
Is
that.
that a huge, I mean, is that a huge deal, or is it,
It's a pain to get power over there, it's like.
but couldn't you do cellular on battery, or solar?
We looked at it, but I don't feel like in Red Lodge in the winter, I don't want our water system dependent on a battery and solar power.
So my question is, when you say power or cellular, because to me, cellular is a fine option, but it requires power. So why is it power or cellular?
Could be power, yeah.
That's what Brandon put in there, and I'm not sure why he said power or cellular. What we've been discussing and what I got estimates from, Northwest Energy is to just run a service to the tanks, and then we can do whatever we want. So,
Because I'm wondering if you meant to say power, if you meant to say some order, you know, network line or cellular would make a lot more sense.
There are some, I mean, when you're using cellular, it's so low power consumption that the solar, I mean, you can put in a battery that'll last a year on it, and then it just charges with solar, so it's pretty,
sitting outside there,
yeah, I mean, you gotta put it in
the cabinet.
yeah.
Still.
I mean, we we run some of our radio towers on that kind of stuff and they're, I mean, super reliable on top of mountains, and I don't know how much it costs to move power in there, but it might be
We'll look into it,
a couple $1,000 ordeal instead of a
40.
40 or 50.
Oh, well, yeah, you get a power.
It's like a minor thing in any
Yeah.
case, but.
Yeah. Okay, anything else you wanted us to look at, Mike?
No, that's just pretty straightforward.
So did council, or this half of council, get a chance to look at it and have any inputs, comments, suggestions, like things that are missing? I know some things that we are aware from public input, and I think that's why Tom's here, things that are not on the list, but what did you guys see or know or recognize as missing?
I was just looking at the
I'll
pickleball stuff and the tennis courts. I mean,
Yeah, that's the page I'm on.
sounds like from the meeting this morning, they want to move everything up to the high school. So that's a whole different ballgame.
Where are they gonna put it up at the high school?
Didn't we talk about that?
We talked about it last night.
Oh.
Well, and to be fair, that's the existing tennis courts become pickleball courts, but they could also be used as overflow tennis courts, but tennis courts up on that empty corner. And that's just as an FYI, there's another conversation that came up, about, hey, if it's there, why don't we use that for housing instead? We had some input offered by one teacher that said that's not where I'd want to live, but I also, there's other people that
I would say
quite
that.
like it.
Well, anyway,
But
yeah.
that's something that ultimately council's gonna look at.
Okay.
Came up this morning.
My personal opinion is, we have a lot of other things in the pipeline that can address housing, and that one, I think up there is uniquely qualified to solve that tennis need for the schools and stuff.
you can get ready.
And I like the idea of extending their lease so that it's their financial
Mm-hmm.
obligation to put it in and maintain it
And
rather
make
than
it
making
easier
it a
for
city.
tournaments and whatnot too, parking, it's all centrally located.
Did,
I think it might be more time if we can just skip through the wastewater and probably the street stuff too, and then just get to the other stuff, because I think that's where the comments are gonna come in probably.
Tom, are you here for,
I've got two, I'll do
what page are you
I
on?
do department, page 32, it's fire department.
Well, I'm not there yet, hold on, okay.
Well, I can go back if you wanna stay where you were.
No,
It's
do you have
actually
another
back
one?
to- Yeah.
Which one are you on, which one do
Well,
you
so
want
let's do the fire department one, let's go to 32,
to? Okay,
and that's,
And that's a printed 32, not the PDF 32.
right, I got
right?
32.
Yeah.
Page 32, there we are.
page number? numbers on them. Oh, tree cemetery?
It's right after cemetery.
Yeah, I got priority,
Okay,
cemetery,
Cemetery.
fire
Yeah,
department.
There you go, fire department. Okay, so, I think this is, really it depends on how you guys want to use this document a little bit
Mhm.
in terms of capital improvements. And so I talked to the mayor about this a little bit this morning, but, the city has a legal obligation to provide fire protection.
Mhm.
And fire protection is very capital intensive. And so the question is that, if the city's just contracting for fire protection with the rural fire district, which they are now, the way that contract was built originally is that, that the city owned a fire truck. So there is one fire truck that the city still owns that we purchased with a mill levy in 2004 that ran to 2014. But there's significant capital need there, and the fire department runs, so the fire district has a capital improvements plan. And so it's just whether you want to report that in your capital improvements plan, or you want to just push that off, but having an understanding of I think it's probably important at some level for the council to understand the capital needs of the obligation they have to provide fire protection. That makes sense. So it's, because if the contract, as it is now, were to fall apart, the city would have an obligation to provide fire protection. Now, there has been lots of talks, and I'll kind of talk about this a bit tonight, but, so I won't spend too much time on it. The idea of annexing the city into the fire district, which then essentially relieves the city of the obligation to provide fire protection because it becomes part of that district. There still would be capital needs there, that probably, I think, resort tax is the right avenue for that. But it's kind of more of a question than a statement, and it's just something to get you guys thinking about where you think, whether you think that should happen. This statement, I would probably rewrite this statement regardless, from how it's written currently. So,
If we are out,
yeah.
Okay.
if we're outsourcing this, so I think, and you may have answered this in the latter part of that, I think you're saying is the fire department section in the CIP. If we're still outsourcing it, you think it does belong in this document? Or do you think it just says, we contract out to the fire, go see their CIP?
I think it could say either one of those.
It should say, see one or the other, so that you know there's.
Exactly, so you know that there's capital obligations there, that's correct. Yeah. And, I mean, I could input the capital plan for the fire department in there, but it's
Another.
another.
45 pages.
Oh, no, it's not, it's a page and a half
Oh, okay.
of,
We're used to like,
I work in a much simpler world, I just built a spreadsheet, and.
You get paid by the word.
Yeah, I don't get paid by the word, I have a spreadsheet. So that's all the fire department piece, so I will, why don't I do this, I will rewrite it, I will send it to Mike, and then we can see what you guys think. That sounds,
correct.
yes, no?
Yep, make changes.
Okay. All right, so then back, I'm in parks again, which was back up in the piece, this is my other hat, which is, we have been,
Page,
page is 24.
All right.
We have been spending a lot of time as a community focusing on an ice rink, and somehow that missed the mark in this.
I put it in.
What's that?
And it's already in.
It is?
I put it in on my new.
Okay, all right,
Oh.
all right, perfect. And I would say, just to be safe, I put in $2 million, is what I would, that would be full facility, and actually very nice.
Does it have a roof over it?
No,
Would this not be
no roof.
in the line, like over?
Where it is currently.
Where it is currently?
Current
Okay.
location. It would also be a great place where you could put pickleball courts.
basically it's a paved versus grass surface in the park.
Okay.
So you would take apart what it is, what you, like you do in the summer, pave it.
Yeah, so you would, you'd rip up the whole thing,
Mhm.
re-level it, regrade it, which needs to happen anyway regardless.
Right,
And then you would put a concrete pad down, so it's a 100 by 200 foot, 80 by 200 foot concrete pad that has cooling in it. And then you build a building right next to that holds a Zamboni and something to remove snow with.
Zamboni.
Yep, and then you have a compressor that cools the concrete slab. So when it gets warm on a day like today, you could actually maintain it. Now, probably this time of year would be the beginning of the end. So the idea would be to get an ice season from the 1st of November to March 17th. And that would be the piece of, so you're not trying to be able to make ice when it's 90 degrees out in the summer.
Right.
So you're trying to be able to make ice till about 40 degrees. And if you had, even if in February it turned into be 60 degrees for 4 days or 5 days, you might actually lose the ice, but then you can just rebuild it again. It's not a huge deal.
it's not a sad state of affairs when you drive by, it's just puddles.
No, and the maintenance becomes a one-person job instead of a 3 or 4 person job. It becomes the ability to just basically start, the biggest piece would be putting the boards up. Like that would be the intensive thing every year. So if you went with pickleball and ice, what you would do is you would pull the boards in the summer, and then you'd put down actually a mat down that then they play pickleball on, and then in the fall, you would pick up the pickleball stuff and put the boards down.
Is this a single piece of concrete, or is this like,
It's a single pour, the whole thing.
okay, so there's not like lines for heat and all that sort of stuff, like in a driveway or something?
Nope.
No.
What keeps it from cracking, and what's the lifeline
Design.
in this property?
How long will it last?
Yeah, what's the
It's
warranty on the product?
designed correctly, 40 to 50 years.
Is it a post-tension slab usually?
I don't understand that, but probably something like that.
No, that's what, that's in that price range, and that was.
Yeah, I mean,
Product.
so the bid that I got on it was $800,000 plus dirt work, plus concrete, plus building. So,
Let me think out loud for a minute. I'm Joe Q. Citizen.
yeah,
You're coming to me and saying, hey, I want you to pay more taxes so
no,
we can maintain fire coverage in the
oh,
city.
yeah.
By the way, we're gonna build a $2 million ice rink downtown.
Yeah, but different piece, right? So.
I'm not
my-
talking about
my-
you and me, I'm talking about Joe Q.
Yeah,
Citizen.
but the ice rink should be built primarily with funds that are ice rink focused. So the recreation part of resort tax, the let's make our community more attractive in the winter so people will come. So we're trying to give people something to do during our slower season so we can build business. Grants, so we would use
$2 million of those?
the department, what's that?
Can you get $2 million from that?
Well, it's the grant we applied for was $2.5 million. Now, it's gonna get split up through some other pieces, but yeah, we can get, but 800,000 of that, maybe between 500 and 800,000 of that could go to ICE, yes. Donations, which I think are a viable piece for a chunk of it. So between resort tax, grants, and donations, I think this is a very viable project. I would not suggest that there would be any kind of an SID or tax assessment or,
No, but what I'm saying is when we have an SID or a tax assessment for one of those other things that is a core service that the city provides, Joe Q. Citizen is gonna tie that. Wait a minute. You're asking me for more money for police, for fire, for sidewalks.
it's not the same money. You can't get a Department of Tourism grant to pay for sidewalks. So or water systems, that, the things that, so what you're trying to do, because we have a tourist-based economy, right? And our businesses are marginally viable in the winter, that what you, or maybe not viable in the winter.
At least that's very considerate.
What you try to do, the goal is to build winter season and extend that. And right now, we really struggle, March is good for us, but the early and,
January and February were
Oh,
awful.
yeah, and so, and what we've seen is the ice rink is super popular.
Yeah.
They're building 2 indoor sheets of ice in Billings. It's a $20 million facility. But what we would have is an outdoor facility here. And so it's a draw for people. It's something for people to do in our community in the winter. You got skiing.
Well, they did
right?
the same thing in Columbus, that thing
Yeah.
right off the interstate,
Yeah.
they turned that into an ice
Yes.
rink.
So
Oh.
theirs is not as attractive as I would want.
Or right on the interstate.
Or right on the interstate, so, you know, that's the difference,
Mhm.
and our economy and people's income is dependent on us being able to have these kinds of community amenities. It's also wildly popular. I mean, if you look at that area, I bet 70% of total park usage in our community is that ice rink.
I don't skate, don't look at
I wouldn't doubt that.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I don't actually.
I mean,
Other than the
it-
dog park.
It is, I mean, there's literally hundreds of people there on a Tuesday night, on a Thursday night,
Yeah,
Saturday
on a
morning.
Saturday
the
morning. Yeah.
league, the
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, and this is all winter, so it's, it is wildly popular. And we do a tournament, that has huge amount of interest from people outside of our community, that we're turning away, I don't want to say 100 people, but lots of people that are getting
Yeah.
turned away from that.
I mean,
those
it's very charming to have a tournament there.
Yeah.
It's a great location, and
Yeah.
I think,
no, I mean, we did something similar with the pool.
It's same concept.
You know, the
Mhm.
same concept, we did it with the pool.
And we said, even when we were doing this in 2020, when we were thinking about it, we said, pool first,
Mhm.
ice rink second. I mean, this is not like a new idea or a new concept
Mhm.
for what we would spend resort tax on to try to what we're trying to do is build out what is attractive for the community.
So, and then, with that, there are bathrooms down there, but do we have in there anywhere for bathrooms downtown? In the
So
Morgan
that
Ford?
is part of that grant that we applied for.
For,
So
okay.
if that grant does come in, one of the things that would do, it's not downtown. It would provide 2 sets of bathrooms, so one at the visitor center and at the Roosevelt School.
Roosevelt?
No, you're talking about the tourism grant now.
Yeah,
Is that what
you're
you're
talking
talking
about
about for the
tourism
ice also?
What's that?
Were you talking about that? for
Yeah,
the
so
ice?
there's 3 main components for and it doesn't mean that you couldn't use this tourism grant. Because there's assessments, you could use it potentially for bathrooms at Rotary Park or something, or downtown.
Yeah,
If there
like at
was a
Pride Park.
logical place. I will say personally, I'm not a huge fan of more public bathrooms because they are hard to clean, hard to maintain, and I don't think we have a bathroom problem downtown. Coming from the person who maintains the public bathrooms downtown.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
I mean, people
okay.
come into the Pollard all the time and say, can I use the bathroom? I'm like, sure, welcome to our hotel. Come stay
Yeah.
here next time,
Yeah,
you know, and we're happy to do that. They come into the pizza company, clean your bathrooms, of course you can. But that grant was, so for improvements for bathrooms, some of it was better bathrooms at the Roosevelt Center so we can do bigger conferences, bathrooms and improvements to the visitor center, trails, ability to do, potentially a snowcat to help upgrade the cross-country trails, and then the ice rink. So focused on winter tourism to grow winter tourism.
Should those things be in the CIP or?
Those other pieces, I don't think so necessarily, because they're not coming to city,
Not-
no.
yeah, the city
Well, but
won't need
this
to.
is, this is looking forward 10, 15 years, stuff we ought to be keeping in our mind is where like, hey, somebody just gave us a bunch of money, what do we do with it?
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, I think it is there, and I don't know that even, like I don't remember who it was who initially said it, downtown bathrooms, maybe that's something we decide not to go with, but I think it's worth putting down as a, and kind of in that Pride Park thing, because that's one place where you could have them in the middle.
Yeah,
Mhm.
oh, and it's more during our big events, we've been bringing in porta potties, you know. But there are a lot of weekends in the summer where it's not a big event, and there's people everywhere looking for bathrooms, you know, and but,
It's public bathrooms down, they're just hard because
Yeah.
they get used to the level. I mean,
Well,
like
we
just
had one
for
that
example,
we're
our
getting rid
pizza
of the
company
wall
bathrooms
daily.
get cleaned 4 times a day.
Yeah, I know, it's
You
bad,
know,
it's
and so the
bad.
question is we put
I cleaned up.
you put, yeah, exactly. That was before we were this busy.
I know.
And, you know, you put bathrooms downtown, now you've gotta hire somebody who's in there cleaning those things 4 times a day.
And we had problems where we were replacing toilet seats daily.
Yeah.
And,
one.
pardon?
Yeah,
The one down,
yeah.
People, yeah.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, well, I
It
mean,
doesn't
but that
hurt,
would be,
to answer your question, it never hurts to put something in the CIP that you think is important, even if you don't think you might get there.
Right.
well,
but
and I
it's-
just think, you know, I mean, you're wonderful about letting people use the Pollard and the Pizza Co., but there's a lot of businesses that have, including restaurants that say, if you're not a customer here, you cannot use
Then
our
they should come
bathroom.
eat at my restaurant.
Yes.
Or
Yeah,
even
but-
if they do, I mean, how many of you have gone into a gas station and bought something?
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Tom's point, what we're doing right now is saying, what else needs to be on this list that we
Right.
haven't thought of? So ICE is, and I'll take credit for derailing that, sorry.
That's okay. No, well, that was
Needs to
my
be
only
on the
other
list.
thing was, I mean, if you don't feel we need to put public bathrooms or downtown on there,
I don't
then,
mind putting them in there because
But-
like with
Not gonna hurt to put them in there.
Yeah.
I would say.
we don't have to do everything
Yeah.
in here, but
okay.
if it came up and we have it documented as this part of our plan, it helps.
And I don't know if we're gonna get this grant, but part of the grant is a tourism assessment, and it would give us an opportunity to really analyze
And
that
this
kind
is
of
like,
thing.
this is like a 5-year, little bit
Right,
year
yeah.
one, little bit
Oh,
year
yeah,
two.
no, I know.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
The Department of Tourism.
Yes, yeah, Department of
Yeah.
Commerce, yes,
Yeah, I'm glad we're finally applying for that.
yeah.
It just barely came in though, so this is a new one.
Oh, it's a new one? It's not the main,
No, it's the one you're thinking.
oh, okay.
Yes, it's the one she's
I think for the ice thing, just for future reference, when Shoto did their tennis courts, they got a FWP grant,
thinking.
and I think they do ice too.
Yeah, oh, yeah, see, there's opportunity here, but
It
it,
was like $400,000.
oh, yeah.
They got-
Yeah, so I think that's, it's just an important piece of what we need, and it would be primarily grant donation and resort tax funded, so.
you know where I live, I go walk my dog at 10 o'clock at night, and I look down the street, and the lights are on, and it makes me so happy.
I know.
It's so cool.
There's a lot of people who use it.
No, I've always felt that Bud Light needs to embrace our winter season
Yeah.
and really promote it, because it's a long,
Outside of the mountains.
it's a long 4 months of,
And I think, you know, I mean,
You know?
when you look at our parks, we definitely get use of our parks in the summer, but it can be hot and uncomfortable, and we have so many places people can go to be outside in the summer. There's less in the winter, and it, you know, the nice thing about it is one of the few, like, group activities you can do in the winter is, you know, go skating, play hockey, you know, do things, and so.
And everyone's
Mike, did you
out,
have
it's
more?
cold. I mean,
No, I think the only other thing that, you know, there might be some comment on that would be good to include is on the building portion. And it's pretty brief in here, it's just, and pretty broad. We have the city hall restoration that's kind of going on. There's a new law enforcement center,
Which, okay, is it, here we go.
pavement at the firing range, solar system for the public restrooms, or a new city hall.
New City
And I don't know if any.
Hall. Or New City Hall.
Well, and in fairness, the current court building is likely gonna become available, and
I think that building needs a lot of, I don't know. Is it much better than the one we're in now?
I would also say, when you talk about building a building, and you think about spaces like this, and spaces like bathrooms and things like this, and I will be a little blasphemous, but the county's gonna build a building, it doesn't cost a whole lot more to add.
Another
Use
one.
the offices for city hall.
and we've
And
had,
then you
we've
may
had
have,
that
then you may actually
conversation.
you share spaces like this, you share meeting rooms, you share bathrooms, and all of a sudden it becomes a lot less expensive for everybody.
There are some historical challenges that we
There
struggle
always
with
are.
when we hit that.
There always are.
But-
I know.
And they are coming in 2 weeks to present.
If you just,
Oh.
stay, you know, if we keep Mike and keep you and keep fostering those relationships, we'll be good. with the county, just saying. It helps to
Very
be
good.
nice to each other.
Any other public building things, issues,
Other than what's on here?
potential projects on buildings?
Yeah, I'm happy we got this money. Is there a possibility we'll get more money next year? Or is it, was
For
it a
something
one-time?
like this.
Yeah, was it a one-time deal?
It was never heard of before, so
I know.
you know, never say
That
never.
was a one-time deal.
But I think in the current environment, we're more likely to see non-reoccurring stuff than new surprises show up.
Okay, I
Call
agree
it
with that.
The, just if you go to the police department, they've got a lease for 3 patrol cars in there. I'm not,
I don't know anything about it.
yeah, I don't know a lot about it either, but
Oh.
I think we've committed, it just says for potential funding source, it says city, and I don't know if you want to differentiate in that.
It would be
Resort tax,
resort, it would
but
be resort tax.
We have
yeah.
committed resort tax to funding police cars.
I thought they were doing, was it 1 or 2 a year?
I thought it was supposed to be, well, I thought it was 2, it's
Two,
1 a year, but
but
2 every
so-
other year.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
we've always
yeah.
committed to.
Make a note to follow up with them on that for the CIP.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I don't, know what the intention there is with dual band radios, but a single dual band radio will cost you between $3,000 and $5,000. So,
Okay.
my guess is that's a,
Double the price?
well, I don't know how many
Or
they
it's
want,
a
I don't know how
collection
many they
we're
want
getting
to
or something.
buy, but that, and there is grant money for that. I don't know what whole board money is for police, but, I just think that's probably a
How much of this stuff is new?
$54,000 item, not a $4,500 item.
How much of this is new versus leftover from the last CIP, Mike? On things like the police section.
I don't know on the police section or, you know, I think a lot of, well, most of it's new on the water, sewer, parks. Parks, I think there's some hangovers. The water, the only hangovers kind of,
But you put together this document, where did this information come from?
that part I did not get, I think.
That was just in there already?
Kitty got that by
Oh,
talking-
Kitty, okay, thank you, that's part of
talking
it.
to, Greg.
So, since we have, Kyle here, on the recycling center, we had talked, about possibly doing like a drive-through, creating some type of drive-through there, and so people aren't having to back up. And
That would be a building thing.
That would be a building thing, I guess.
Okay.
You know, because we have, once
Okay.
they move that fence,
Recycling center expansion.
yeah, expansion, so that would be something to put on there,
The building priorities.
yeah. So people aren't backing over other people, they can drive through it instead of backing up.
I don't know about that anyway.
You what?
I said, I don't know about that anyway. Like, it's always like it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
To do that whole thing would be a whole thing.
It would be, yeah, I mean, it's a big
Everything
project,
we did everything. too.
we talked about, like back behind there, like creating a whole road through there, a drive-through where people
I'm
would,
sure, But
so people aren't backing up
Yeah.
into the recycling center.
is it viable though? I'm not sure.
That, what we would have to
We
have,
a lot more land there now.
yeah.
That's part of it.
That would,
Got a pretty
Yeah.
steep hill with a
that would,
2-inch store pipe.
that would change it. Yeah, and that store pipe is right next to
So
where
you're
that
not gonna
line's at,
level
too.
that hill
Yeah,
up,
you can't get rid of that spot there.
so.
So really, you got like
You can go
20
up there.
feet extra maybe, like, it's not that much land extra. It's not, I don't know, that'd be great. In theory, that would be so great, but like, in practice, I don't know, where am I gonna put all the bales at? Where am I gonna put all the other
Mhm.
stuff at? Yeah.
Yeah, because
Like a
where
lot of-
we were looking at it is where the hill
stuff
was,
around,
but
and
if that,
it would be great,
Mm.
but also, I don't know, I think it would be just good to keep it running. That'd be
Okay,
cool.
oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
I have a 5:30 meeting, and then
All right.
I gotta be back here by 6, so I will, I'm
All
gonna
right.
run, but I will be back.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
I like the idea of.
See you in a bit.
Do you guys think we need Mike here for the CIP discussion tonight, or are you guys comfortable taking any additional?
Okay, no, I think we're good.
I mean, yeah, if he'd like to be here, especially, you know, but you know what's going on too, right?
It's pretty much,
Do you know something I don't know?
No, I said, you know what's going, I mean, you
know what we don't know.
understand.
in there, that's mostly, I mean, if if anything, if anybody has a good idea, just jot it down and I'll.
Yes.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
we're kind of just throwing anything at the wall.
And you guys will recognize the new stuff we've added already, and say, oh,
Right.
I remember that, that sounds familiar, we've talked about it recently.
And I can give you a digital copy of one that's got a little more edits in it, but it's not that much.
No, that's okay. We've got this for now, so. Okay.
Whoa.
Okay, yeah, I guess, you know, as far as the recycling center, expansion or improvements to that,
I thought
do,
I've got that.
okay, good.
I'm so happy that we're getting solar going, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's such a huge,
Yeah.
We're getting close.
What?
Try.
This whole solar thing.
working on it. But
So-
that sucks, that's been a huge pain, I don't know.
The equipment priorities, that's blank too, are you gonna fill that in later as well?
Yeah, it's got most of
Okay.
that kind of.
Okay.
penciled in.
So this is just a very preliminary rough draft, so.
It needs to be rough draft.
Yeah, we'll make sure that people understand that this is a rough draft, and if you have,
If anybody's got ideas,
This is
like
the
Okay.
jumping off
the
point
hockey
here.
thing wasn't in there until you mentioned it today.
Same with
Same
cemetery
with
priorities.
okay,
recycling wasn't in there, so that's that.
yeah.
Do you know if we have a copy to today, is this posted online anywhere?
But this online.
Of the draft CIP for people to look
I
at?
sent it to her, I don't know, I sent it to Bonnie, I don't know.
Yeah, and I know it's in, you can get there via packet stuff, but
Okay.
it might be kind of a nice reference for folks to get to. Anyway, I want to
And
make sure we
do you have
have
a
a couple
question?
minutes to
No,
talk about
I think
recycling.
Kyle, we only have a few more minutes, so
Oh,
Kyle
yeah.
has a couple things to talk about.
Yeah, well, we have
We have the we have two guys.
yeah,
Three.
Three?
Well, Jeremy, David,
Jeremy, Brian, yeah, sure. But you guys are all okay to keep it going through? This is their proposal, or this is
the outfit's proposal.
Is this the one that they came and said, hire them as
recycling
full-time
center,
city
okay.
employees?
Yeah, that was last time.
Oh,
I've gotten it in the
another
last
one?
week, and the answer is no. We'll
Okay.
pull it before we go
So
there.
honestly, as far as I'm concerned, like, I love those guys so much. I love Brian the most. Brian is like the only one that's very, very helpful. And he's, you know, but they're special needs guys, right? Like, they can only do so much. But the reality is like, I've worked there for the last 4 years, and it was, you know, nonprofit, blah, blah, blah. They were supposed to have somebody who was supposed to come, you know, and take care of them all the way, all the time. They were like a job coach, and there was a woman that was doing that. And then all of a sudden, she was gone, because her funding got cut, whatever. And so it just got deferred onto me, kind of, and I'm, okay.
yeah, and that's not
Around,
okay.
It's fine. Yeah, it's not, you know, there's like a whole nother person of pay, basically, that I'm like, all of a sudden assimilating to, right, to like do this. And like, I love those guys, and I haven't wanted to just like step on people's toes, but like the fact that like, it's become an issue for you and everybody else, like, it's easier to not have them around, like realistically, like I don't have help to like take care of them either, you know, like there should be, like is required in their contract, right?
I think that's what the contract reads.
Yeah, it's like messed up. There's never been somebody that was doing that.
Mhm.
And for them to like come to you and be like, we want more pay and more pay and more pay, and like, they
Well,
don't come.
and their initial proposal was one of twofold. A, we want them to be city employees, which in order to do that, we've gone to legal on this. We have to post the job and give it to the best qualified people, and they're gonna take themselves out of the equation there.
You can't do it.
Or alternatively, give us more money so we can pay for the supervisor to be over there, which they
You
said they
can't,
were
they
gonna
don't
be
even
there.
have a supervisor.
Yeah, so,
People.
and then, now the other part of this, so, the other thing is, going back a couple of years, you two are here, you were not directly involved in it, but they were on council at the time, but there was this, we're gonna do the level of recycling we can do for $6, you know?
Sure.
$6 a month sort of a thing. And so, and as we come to the sustainability things, and they talk about, well, this really isn't doing something, or this really isn't doing something, and plastic isn't, or blah, blah, there's part of me that says, we'll take cardboard. We got a guy, bring cardboard. And if that's it, I'd rather do that
Yeah, sure.
so it's kind of this, we've got to stick to that $6 metric that you guys had set out. How do we do that?
I mean, I can run it the way it's been. I've been running it myself for like,
And what you're trying not to say is your job gets easier if you take away the supervising,
Yeah.
babysitting.
Saying it
all
without
of
saying it?
Honestly, I might have to go in a couple of extra hours a week to just like consolidate.
But there would be money in the budget for that because
getting-
we wouldn't be
Yeah,
paying
sure.
the contract.
It's not
Yeah.
gonna be like a whole, I'm not gonna have to go in like 2 extra days, 8 hours a day. It's like, no way. That's not, I can.
We had a record day on Saturday, and it was,
It was just the two of us.
seamless, it was
Yeah.
seamless.
With the two of you?
135
And it's
people.
like, it's a lot of work, but I've been doing it long enough and, you know, it works out, right?
You've got it, you've got the system
We're
down.
keeping it going, yeah.
Well, I think-
The fact that it's become, like, it's not those guys, you know, they don't have anything to do with it, and they love it, and they're like so upset that they can't come work. It bums me out, because I like know them, like.
So have they not been coming lately then?
No, they're not
they
under
can't
a
come.
contract.
We're not allowed to let them come, right? 'cause
Yeah,
they-
they're
Okay.
not.
Contract.
So that's been that way since last June.
Right, which,
We just found out,
I didn't know.
and
Okay.
just
I didn't know
moved,
that, actually.
so they've been
but,
coming until.
So they've been not coming.
Yeah.
Since we found out.
And it's working.
When did they?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When did they stop not coming?
Right when I
Stop.
got back from Hawaii, basically.
Yeah, it was
Really
in-
the last, like,
2 weeks.
month.
Yeah,
But,
when we found out the contract was
everything, when
up.
I leave for any amount of time, it's like, you know, a ton of stuff, because everybody keeps their stuff. It's not like they stop buying stuff. You know?
Okay, let's
I
don't
know.
get into our.
So-
Anyway,
Our
so there's a
pet
lot, yeah.
Well,
but-
I
so
mean-
Your input to council is,
My input to council is, if it's an issue, I would love, honestly, Brian is the best. He's such a good hand, and he like, yeah, no, he does not have a beard. He's
I don't know if
like,
Brian-
the taller one that, I don't know, it's hard to explain.
Okay.
He's more normal than the rest of them, kind of,
Brian,
if that makes sense.
okay.
So, I guess
Right.
as
Anyway.
being more on admin and finance as well, you know, I am anyway. I guess looking at the budget, I mean, to me, it's what's the best use of our funds? You know, is it to give Kyle more out, you know, and this is up to the mayor and Mike, but at the end of the day, you know, it's our recommendation to council is to reevaluate how that's happening. Do we hire another part-time person, put it out there, and if one of them applies for it and they get it, then they get it?
Sure.
Or, do we, you know,
I mean,
give Kyle more hours if he wants it, or?
If you wanna give me an extra day a week even, that I can go and do.
how many hours are you now?
I'm there, so I only work 3 days a week there.
But what's the hours is what I'm asking?
So it's usually 6 hours every day, so I have
So
to do it.
18? I'm looking in terms of, is it more or less than 29, is what I'm
No,
looking at.
so it's low, it's only part-time, so I have to have a second job, right? So, I mean,
I'm very comfortable taking this back and working with the department head.
I
Doing
think
this?
that would be my
That's,
personally, from admin and finance, I mean, you know, where we stand on the budget, and to make it work and to make it so we get the best bang for our buck is really important right now, so.
Kyle, how closely do you work with Mike, and do you reach out and escalate things, or?
no,
I stay
Mike,
out of their hair down there.
Mike's great. He's coming to
He
me
must
when he
think
needs stuff, you know, and, I mean, not super closely, but I'm willing to do whatever.
Well, we'll get together and
Yeah.
chat, and then.
You got my direct phone number, right? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
We'll see if we can hammer something out
sure.
that
Yeah.
works for.
And I'm also okay with keeping them on. I mean, you know, it has become a whole thing where it is like, you see it there, you know, it's like, I'm like having to like totally engage these guys most of the time to do stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know that
They
that's
don't.
necessarily in your job
It's
description, no.
not, no.
And
it never
again, we're
was.
back, and it's a lovely thing to do, but back to your article, our job is the stewards of the city's money.
Sure, and is it really go, yeah, am I just being totally taken advantage of kind of by Beartooth Industries? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
Well, and then by,
that's reality,
They should
right?
pay you.
Yeah, they should be paying me, and you should be paying me. They're like, that's not what's going on. Yeah,
And
yeah, it's true.
And then the
It's
other
true.
thing that I'd like to see come out of that is some clear policies, just kind of how we handle things down there. There's a couple of complaints that we've had that come in that have been escalated to Mike, so
Oh, sure.
just know there's some
Okay.
things we're gonna need to address or figure out how to make sure we don't go there, so.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything, but, yeah.
I haven't got around to dealing with
Nope, if it's, you tell me, I don't know, people
Okay.
have zero chill about recycling, so I wouldn't be surprised.
They're very
Everything
passionate
recycled
about
is
it.
chill.
It's not the case.
No.
We will,
You were
we will,
there,
we
you
will
know.
take it to the admin department head.
Not really.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate that.
Not
All right.
really.
Okay, so next, Parks and Sustainability Board update.
Any parks updates?
I missed the last.
No
sustainability
updates?
Board meeting.
I'm just gonna put that in.
And like I said,
From July first last year.
Yeah,
parks, we got Pride Park going. Got the tree planting, got the other grant we're waiting.
Everything you already said in here, got it.
okay. All right.
They already did.
Anything else that we need to talk about before tonight's meeting?
I don't think so.
Okay, guys, thank you so much.
Mike, have a good evening.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah. Kyle, nice meeting you finally.
What did you do? What's your name? Sorry.
Linda.
I always try to call him stuff.
Everybody thinks my brother and I.
I know, and I know you're older, I know you're tired.
was on that train for a while,
talking
your brother's
name for a while.
I've ever met was like, oh, Seth, and I'm like, Seth
No.
doesn't even leave the house, he can't even remember.
I know.
Why does everybody remember
I
him?
know.
It's funny, because no one's.
Everyone,
Well,
everyone
see,
knows me.
Chance and Seth were like such
Sure.
good friends,
Well,
so that's why,
have
no,
it.
oh, I know.
You have it.
So I always have to think, no, it's the older brother, it's the older brother.
They don't even know about me.
They don't know about me either in my family,
Okay,
so don't
meeting
feel bad.
adjourned, thank you
Right.
guys. Thank you.
Sweet.
Appreciate all your.
Pretty good. How about you?